First thing I'd like to do is correct some information that I gave you in the first video of this series. When you open an image into your layout and editing page, I told you not to click on the outside of the red resizing box until you were done resizing your image. I said that if you did, you could no longer resize and modify your image. That is not the case. You can modify your image as much as you'd like. If you do click outside of the resizing box and it disappears, just right-click on your page and then left-click on Modify Image and your resizing box will appear again. You can also turn the image on and off in this window also. I learn new things about this software every day. Alright, I'm going to close this window now, and no, I do not want to save any changes. So now we can start. Again, go up to Home. You have the option in this software to hide your sewing order window and to hide your attributes windows. Right-click on the window and uncheck Floating. Then click the little pin up at the top of the window, and your window will dock to the side. Uncheck Attributes on your color window and your attributes windows. These will then also dock to the side. While you are digitizing, you can click on the tabs of each window and have them pop open so you can make changes or look at your color order or change thread colors. You can open your text attributes, your sewing attributes, or your color thread chart by just clicking on the little tab. You can also do the very same thing with your stitch simulator. You can either float it or dock it. I prefer mine docked. It's down at the bottom where I can see it easily. Except for the stitch simulator, I prefer my windows floating for easy access. So I'm going to undock mine and check floating. So let's do a little digitizing now. Click on your Home tab, then highlight Line and Region. Click on your Close Straight Line tool. Notice your attributes up at the top. Be sure that your top line stitch is highlighted and that it's on zigzag. Click the little spool of thread next to it and change the color to black. Click the little spool of thread next to Region Fill and choose your favorite color. We will discuss some of the different options available for stitches a little later in the video. Alright, let's start with a random design. Left click, left click, left click, left click, always left click. Just choose any kind of design you want. Remember to leave a small gap. Don't close the path. And then left click twice. Because you have your line attribute checked and your fill stitch checked, you're going to have a border all around your design. Select the black border stitching in your sewing order window. Your sewing attributes window will open. Here you can change the density and the width of your zigzag stitch. Click down on the little arrows for a smaller width zigzag, or click up to make a larger zigzag. You can go anywhere from a very narrow border to a very large border. You can use your undo arrow to reverse changes that you've made to your designs. Now it's back where I started. You can also change the density of your stitches in the sewing attributes window. Click up or down to increase or decrease the density of your border stitch. You can go from a very loose density to a very tight density. Always be sure that the stitches that you want to edit in your sewing attributes window are highlighted in your sewing order window. You may want to change the density of your stitches just for a different look or because of different fabrics that you may be using. Now highlight the fill stitches in your sewing order window. Click the undersewing box in your attributes. You can choose different types and density to your undersewing. Undersewing helps keep your designs from puckering and pulling. You can change the density of your fill stitch from very dense to very light fill. I believe the default density is set at 114. I usually like to use 121 for my fill stitching. It seems to have better coverage. Experiment a little bit with more and less density to see what happens. Experimenting is a wonderful way to learn. Now remember, we can also change the direction of our stitches in the attributes window. Click the little arrow and hold it down and just rotate it, and your stitches will move to the direction of the little arrow. Okay, be sure the region stitch is highlighted in your sewing order window. Click on the Color tab in your Sewing Attributes window and we'll change some colors. In the Color window, you can change the brands of your thread if you like. Choose any color, click on it, and watch your region fill stitches change color. You can preview many different colors until you decide on your favorite. Remember, you can always go up to your little undo arrow and click on it and reverse any changes that you've made and get back to your original color if you like. Alright, now highlight your border stitch, the line stitch. We can change the line border stitch the same way we change the region fill stitch. Just click on a color and your line border stitches will change. Don't like that combination? Click another color. You can test out a lot of different color combinations. Preview different colors, or if you like, go back up to your undo arrow and get back to the original color that you started with. Alright, now let's look at some different fill stitch options. Highlight your fill stitch in the sewing order window. Go up and click on the little arrow next to your fill stitch. Click on satin stitch and watch what happens. We've already used the fill stitch option, so click on the progressive fill stitch option. Now go over and click on your Sewing Attributes tab. In the Sewing Attributes window, you will notice Programmable Fill. Click on the little folder next to it. A window with numerous different programmable fill stitches will open. Click on one of your choice. Click OK and watch the stitches change in your design. It is fun to try the different stitch options available. These different stitch options can dramatically change the look of your digitized work. You can add texture and interest to your digitized designs. These options are well worth experimenting with. You can also change the direction of your programmable fill stitches. Just grab the little stitch direction arrow and rotate it until you get your stitches in the direction that you would like them to go. Continue to experiment with all of the different stitch options that you have available. Now you've seen how a lot of the different fill stitches work. Now I'm going to go back and change my region stitch to regular fill stitch like we started with. Now select your line border stitch in the sewing order window. Go up and click the little arrow next to your line stitching. You'll notice various different options for your line border stitching. Again, experiment with all of these different options and see what happens. You'll learn so much by just experimenting and playing with your software program. Just watch and follow where I click, and you'll see how many different options are available to you in stitch width, stitch length, all kinds of different varieties. You have to experiment to learn. A lot of times the only way to learn is to experiment and test different things and see how it works. Push a button here or push a button there. Just experiment. Okay, now I want you to go up and hit your select button. You'll notice the little dots that appear around your design. This means that your whole design has been selected, and you can left click on it, hold it down, drag it to the center. If you want your design completely centered, go up and hit the Arrange tab and then click on Move to Center, and your design will be perfectly centered. Alright, now I'd like you to watch a complete stitch simulation of what you've just created. Click on the forward arrow of your stitch simulator. The stitch simulator shows you exactly how your design is going to stitch out. The first thing we're seeing right now is all the undersewing. And then you'll start seeing the fill stitch sew. You can speed the stitch simulator up or down to watch it go fast or watch it go slow. Alright, I'm going to speed it up a little bit. And then finally, your border will sew out. This is exactly how it's going to sew out on your machine. Using the Stitch Simulator, you're going to know exactly where you need to edit your design if necessary.